Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast of brief messages to help humanity bridge the gap to the new earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard. It is my delight to be a scribe for consciousness today, sharing the wisdom that flows through from Source. Here we go. Episode 242. It is Tuesday, 22 and Tuesday today, and it is, I don't know where that came from. It is warm and sticky and a little muggy, like it's about to rain here in Cincinnati. When I was out running this morning, the one side of the sky was bright blue and the other side was this dark gray cloud, and as I was running back towards home, it looked like I was running right into the storm, and then it never actually rained. So it was one of those interesting mornings where you're waiting for the water to come down and it hasn't yet. So we'll see what happens through the day. We could definitely use some water. Our gardens are getting dry. So today when I was looking at that storm cloud, I had this flash of a title come in, which made me laugh, but it's actually what we're going to explore today. The title was The North Wind, and the reason it came through, so when a storm is starting to come in, there's that breeze that brings it in, that's carrying it in, and so at least here, in the valley where we live, you can feel when a storm is arriving because the wind is picking it up and blowing all of these clouds towards us. And I could feel that today. I could feel the wind as I was running starting to pick up. When I heard that title, The North Wind, I immediately thought of the movie Xoxoxo, which is an older film from the year 2000. If you have not yet watched that and you think you want to watch it and you don't want to know what the ending is, please stop listening because there is going to be a spoiler as I talk about this movie and how relevant it feels at this time. So don't listen if you don't want to know. And also, if you haven't seen the movie and you listen to this, I still think you should see the movie because it's amazing. But either way, in the movie, so here's the movie review. In the movie, there is this beautiful woman, Juliette Binoche, I think is how you say her name. And she and her daughter move into this tiny little town somewhere in France, and I don't know, it's 50s or 60s. Everyone's very prim and proper. It's very much about the church as the authority in the village. And she comes in with this, I think it was even a red cape. She comes in with this witchy sort of energy, and she's gorgeous, and she opens up a chocolate shop. But it's not just a regular chocolate shop. She opens up this gourmet, fancy, mystical, witchy kind of chocolate shop. And so when people come in to get chocolate, which at first I think it was mostly women, they have this experience when they eat the chocolate, and it makes them remember things or desire things or speak out, and rebel a little bit. And so she starts creating all this havoc in the village. This one woman in particular is with this, I think she was married to this very abusive man who was an alcoholic. And so the chocolate made her really courageous, and eventually she leaves her husband and moves in and starts helping this woman with her chocolate shop. So there's all kinds of chaos that starts to come through. In the middle of all that, she has there are pirates, I guess, that go down the river near this village, and the pirates show up and she talks to them. She gives them chocolate. She helps them have a party. And so the religious villagers are not happy, and there's all this drama that happens with the pirate. Of course, Johnny Depp is the pirate, and she falls in love with him because who wouldn't? So in the movie, they just show a lot of secrecy and then trying to be transparent, games that are being played, the politics. There's just every theme you could think of that is in this one little movie. What is relevant, what is why the title The North Wind came through today for me, and this movie came to mind. She has this philosophy or way of living where she can sense when the wind is changing, and by that she means the welcoming of the people in the place where she is at that time. She can feel when it shifts and when it's no longer good for her to stay in a place because she's not welcome. And so she takes her daughter, when the north wind starts blowing, as she describes it, she takes her daughter and they leave in the middle of the night and go somewhere new and start over again. And so when all of this upset happens in the village and people are getting hurt and there's a lot of risk that seems to be coming forward for her and the people around her who are supporting her, she tells her daughter, the north wind is blowing and we are going to go again. We're going to leave. And this time her daughter says no. She puts her foot down and she says, we're going to stay. And so there's this, another big battle that happens. The best part of the whole movie is when the leader of the church, who has been telling everyone not to eat her chocolate and how her chocolate is from the devil and it's terrible and nobody should touch the chocolate, there's this scene towards the end where he somehow gets into her shop and he starts sampling one piece of chocolate and he can't stop himself. And so he's literally just shoveling chocolate into his mouth, and he has so much that he falls asleep in the window of the shop. So she finds him laying there. It's such a great scene. And then, there's all kinds of beauty that happens at the end. What was magical as I was watching it for the first time, I hadn't seen it before, and my friend Ange was like, you gotta watch this. And now I'm thinking it's one of the best movies ever. So Ange is very, very wise. When I was watching it, what I loved is the claiming of I belong in this village, and even if I don't fit in with all the people around me, or these people are projecting their fears, their limitations, or I guess fears is the best word. Yeah. When they're projecting their fears at her, she still decides to stay and not follow the north wind, which would have her get up and leave in secrecy. And I was feeling that energy today when I was looking at the storm cloud come in. It's so easy when energy starts to shift for us, speak for myself, for me to think the energy is shifting, so it's important to pull back, or it's important to be smaller to make room for others, or it's important to, not shine so brightly, not be so visible when it makes other people uncomfortable. And so we tend to pull in at those times when the north wind is perhaps saying, expand, be bigger. The energy is shifting as these planets are not going to be in retrograde anymore. So this sense of change that many of us may be feeling, or this momentum that wants to pick us up and carry us into something new, it may feel intense, or it may feel a little scary. And so we want to pull back, or we want to be less than what we know we are capable of being. And so my encouragement is, do the opposite of that. Claim who you are, stand really still and be bigger and be more visible and be stronger, and allow that momentum of the north wind to actually lift you up and expand you, allow you to be bigger or bolder. We have this new moon, which for some reason I was thinking is today, but it's tomorrow. New moon in Leo. Leo are our lions. They roar, they're courageous, they're brave. The sign of Leo in astrology is the one who is shining so big and so bright. They are the ones on the stages letting themselves be seen in big, beautiful ways. So that energy is arriving. Perhaps you call that the north wind. The north wind is sweeping underneath us and inviting us to take up more space, to become more seen, more courageous in expressing ourselves. the woman in the movie, her name is, I think it's Vianne is how you say it. It's Vianne. I had to look it up because I couldn't remember her name. But I thought that was kind of cool. She's got a V name. There aren't a lot of V people, and I like my V people. But in the movie, she came in and created ripples in her little town that she eventually adopted and settled into. She created a lot of ripples. She upset a lot of carts and disrupted relationships and questioned the authority of the church at that time. She came in with a lot of unknown energy that may have felt scary to those people, or may have felt witchy or dark or dangerous. And really what she was doing was connecting people back to their heart through chocolate. I mean, could I have a better heroine than that? Like, she's a rock star. I love chocolate so much. I love when people connect back to their hearts. So, like, win-win. But that was her whole purpose of being, was to create magical gifts that remind people of the pleasure and the luxury and the deliciousness of this life. And sometimes when a person is doing that, reminding people of who they are, it looks disruptive from the outside. It looks like chaos. So tune into the north wind. Tune into that feeling of change arriving. When planets move from retrograde to, what is it called, station, when they're back in flow again, it is like a gear shifting or a mechanism changing, and we can feel that energetically. We may not have the words for it or know what the astrology definition would be, but we can feel things are lightening up, becoming easier, that there's a gratefulness, a gratitude, and a richness that becomes more present about our lives. Align with that. Let the north wind lift you up and then carry you into whatever this next phase is going to be. And then watch the movie Chocolat and eat some chocolate and, revel in the deliciousness of chocolate. Where can you go wrong with that? Okay. Thank you for tuning into this vibration of pure love. I invite you to join me in aligning with the optimal health of your mind, body, spirit in the virtual community of Viv's Energy Gym. You can learn more at mysouljourney.com. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.